Finding premises for your business is one of the most important decisions you'll make. Here, you'll see why it's so important and learn how you can find your ideal premises. Getting your choice of premises right will help your business operate effectively with fewer unnecessary costs. So, before you begin, you need to think about your business needs and what you can afford. If you haven't thought about working from home, you should, because it can be much cheaper than renting office space. But if that's not an option, you should start to list what you're looking for. You've got to work out what you need from your premises, what's really essential for your business to operate. Usually this is location, and it's something that is overlooked by many businesses when starting up. But it's very important, so let's see why. Choosing the wrong location can impact on both customers and staff. If it's too remote, it can be difficult for them to get to, and your business may depend on passing trade, or require a location to reflect its image. Even things such as car parking and local transport networks need consideration. If your staff or customers can't easily get to your premises, your business is going to struggle. Your customers are less likely to visit your premises, and your staff are going to be put off by the commute. Location is one thing, but the size and layout of the building are also important factors. If you don't have enough space, or it's badly laid out, you and your employees may be uncomfortable. You'll find that processes don't work efficiently, or the layout or conditions prevent people working well together. As well as this, too little space could limit the chances of growing your business in the future. If you don't have room for extra storage, more employees, and so on. When you're looking at premises with a view to taking them on for your business, there are some practical factors to consider too. You'll need to think about whether the facilities are good enough for your employees. Are there any special requirements you need? Do the premises have adequate water, power, and drainage? Do you plan to expand at any point? And would these premises allow you to do this? Once you've considered these sorts of questions, you should write down some locations and premises you'd be willing to consider. Include a rough size of building you think you'll need and any other important requirements you want from your premises. This information will help you to find what you're looking for. But before you rush off to find your premises, there is one last consideration that hugely affects where you locate your business, and that's cost. Paying for premises is a major cost for any business, and you'll need to balance the location of your business with how much you can afford. An important factor in the cost of your premises is whether you want to rent or buy. Buying premises is not for everyone, but it can work well for businesses that can afford it. The obvious costs when buying your premises are the purchase price, maintenance, and repairs. But there can be other costs such as solicitors' fees, building surveys, and stamp duty that you need to think about. You'll also have to get a commercial mortgage, and this isn't always easy. It's likely you'll have to find at least 15% of the purchase price to qualify for a mortgage. It can be a time-consuming and sometimes stressful process. You'll also need to be confident that you can afford the mortgage repayments. But buying premises isn't all bad, and it can bring some major advantages. For starters, you'll own the property, and that means you can almost do what you want with it. For example, how it's laid out and decorated. You can stay there as long as you like. You don't have to pay rent. As well as this, your property might go up in value. You can then sell the premises for a profit if it's not needed anymore, or rent it out to someone else. But as attractive as buying premises may seem, it's often unrealistic. Most businesses choose to rent property because it's usually easier to find, cheaper than buying premises, and it's more flexible. You can agree the conditions of your business lease in advance, and legally, you're usually well protected. But even renting business property has its downsides. You'll usually have to pay a premium to buy the lease, and depending on who you deal with, this can be expensive. It's also likely you'll be responsible for maintaining and repairing the building, even if you don't own it. And although you'll have to do this, you might not be allowed to change the interior, which is a problem if you want to expand or improve the layout. You might even find that the landlord wants to increase your rent when it's reviewed, so always take this into account when you're looking at premises at the top end of your budget. Because of these factors, you need to make sure renting is the best option before you take any property. Commercial leases often run for a minimum of 15 years, and that's a long time to put up with the wrong premises. Whether you decide to buy or rent premises, always check the legal terms before you agree to anything. Make sure that there are no hidden clauses, obligations, or costs in there that could come back to haunt you. For leases in particular, check you're not committing to an overly long period of time, that you can afford the repayments in the agreement, and that you can also keep to your side of the deal. If you're buying, make sure you can afford the mortgage repayments, insurances, and all the other costs associated with owning a property. And always use a commercial property solicitor to check through your lease or mortgage. Though it may be costly, they'll be able to explain the contract in detail and show you any pitfalls. They might even be able to help you negotiate a better deal. And just remember, when working out what you can afford, there are other costs as well as mortgage and rental payments. You might need new equipment for your premises and your business, such as IT and telephones, stationery, or vehicles. And it's likely you'll have to pay someone to move you into your new premises. These might all seem like small costs, but they'll add up. And if you've not budgeted correctly, it could cause you some concern. Now you know what to look for. You need to know where to look. And it's not that difficult, but you need to do your research. Check local and specialist newspapers for properties, or ask local surveyors, your local authority, local chambers of commerce, or even your trade association. You can even ask any personal or business contacts that you might have. You can get a commercial agent to do this for you. They're essentially estate agents for businesses and should be able to find properties to match your needs. Make sure you have a generous list of possible premises to look through. Don't set your sights on just one. It might be out of your price range, or it might not be that suitable. Be thorough. Stick to your requirements and what you can afford, and you'll find the right business premises.